Hello, I thought it would be cool to kick today's video off with a little story time before we get into the 5 reasons that no one is buying your course. And it brings me all the way back to when I very first started in this industry and I attempted at creating my very first course. And I spent months, I'm talking months, agonizing over every little detail, what it looked like, how much information I could jam into it, how I was going to host it, would I pick Kajabi or Thinkific, all of these things that I can tell you now in the grand scheme of things mean nothing. And I remember when I launched it, that day, that fateful day, you might know what I'm talking about when you're like, okay, this thing is going live now after months and months and months of blood, sweat, and tears and staying up late nights and early mornings and working all day trying to figure this thing out. I hit publish and then I hit refresh. And then I hit refresh again because where were the clients? Why was no one buying my course? You know, slowly but surely clients started to trickle in. And over that first week, we did end up generating about $10,000. And when I say we, it was really just me at that time. $10,000 in the first week, which was really exciting, especially for something I had never done before. But I can tell you that I learned so much from that experience. And I was just so confused because I was like, well, why are all these people saying it's so easy to launch an online course? And it just took me months and months and months. And I have to be honest, I was disappointed in the result. So I used it as an opportunity to learn from it. And I can tell you today, you know, now we've done just under $30 million in course sales in my business. That's an insane number to say out loud. And obviously, through that process of going from really very green beginnings and humble beginnings to where we are now, I've obviously learned a lot. And that's why I want to share it with you, because if I can save you that frustration, that time, that energy, and fast track you to be able to actually make the impact on the people who need you most, then my job is done. So that's why I wanted to share this with you and hopefully make you feel a little better if you've had that experience, because I know a lot of people have. And the reality is, especially when you're just getting started out, a course doesn't just magically sell, okay? It takes intention and it takes strategy and it takes focus. And I've now helped thousands of entrepreneurs do just that and package their unique genius and their expertise into highly scalable, highly impactful, highly profitable online course businesses. You can learn more about how I do that in my free masterclass at workwithsunny.com. And I've also got an entire separate YouTube channel completely dedicated to case studies and client success stories. And there's tons of them on there. If you ever need a little hit of inspiration, I'll put both of those links in the description below. And in working with so many people over the years, I have seen that there are 5 painfully predictable problems that come up and are the key reasons why no one is buying your course. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So if this is something you're excited about hearing, so we can tackle them head on and make sure you don't go through the same thing, hit the like button and be sure to subscribe for new videos every single week and hit that notification bell so you don't miss them. All right, let's dig into these 5 things and then we'll break them down. So number 1, people don't buy products or services. Number 2, not all clients are good clients. Number 3, assumptions don't equal abundance. Number 4, you don't have a content to client checklist. And number 5, you aren't selling. People don't buy products or services. I know that sounds crazy considering what we're talking about here, but you have to understand the psychology behind buying decisions. And it's really easy to start identifying this when you actually look at your own purchases and your purchase history. So what people do buy is transformations. They buy outcomes. They buy solutions and they buy feelings. That's what people are investing into. So you have to know, well, what is it exactly that your client is actually seeking from you? And most importantly, when it comes to creating an online course business, the biggest mistake you can make is thinking the more information that you pack into a program, the better. Again, people pay for transformation. They don't pay for information. And just stuffing a course full of all this content actually does you and the client a big disservice because you're just prolonging what they're actually investing into, which is getting the result that they're seeking. So you want to make it as efficient and lean as possible so that they can get from zero, as we like to say, zero to hero as quickly as possible. Because when people get results, guess what? They talk about it and then they tell everyone they know, oh my gosh, this is the go-to person and the go-to course for you to take to get X results. And look what I've been able to do. Social proof and results are the easiest way for you to validate and prove your offer so you can scale. So you want to make that your number 1 priority. And a bunch of information is not necessarily the key for people to get there. And to kind of take this a step further, one of my favorite ways to describe this is using cars as a really good perspective on why people don't buy things or products or services. So a car essentially gets you from A to B. And if that's all people were buying was the service of going from A to B, then everyone would drive the same car. It wouldn't really matter where you drove. The reality is people don't buy cars, they buy status. And they buy the feeling of what that car makes them look like, feel like, and how they want to show up in the world. That's what they're actually investing into. Another really good one. There are so many different alarm systems on the market, but people aren't buying alarm systems for their homes. They're buying peace of mind. And people don't buy skincare products. What they're really buying is youth. And people don't even buy a website or a domain name. They're buying legitimacy and validation. And even in my case, in the Authority Accelerator program, people are not investing into my program to simply create an online course. What they're doing is they're investing into my program to create the transformation of detaching their time from their income so they can grow their impact and their experience on a global scale. Number 2, not all clients are good clients. Woo, if you've been in business long enough or tried growing your business for long enough, you know this one. So what do I mean by that? In last week's video, I talked about something that I say often, which is broad equals broke and specific equals sales. One of the biggest mistakes you can make, and part of the reason that your course may not be selling, is that you've picked a really broad category. So let's say that you picked the category of singing, and you are going after every kind of singer there is. You're trying to help every person out there who wants to sing. Well, that's really challenging because 1, there's a lot of free information out there about that topic. And 2, there are so many different people at so many different experience levels. So your ideal clients are actually a mirror for you. And let me take that a step further because this is really important to understand. Your clients, and the key to actually getting clients in the door, is understanding your particular experience level. Because you cannot teach what you haven't experienced and what you don't have an expertise in. But if you're here watching this video, you have expertise, you have experience, but you just might be trying to teach something that's out of your realm of knowledge and out of your realm of experience for yourself. And that's really hard because if you haven't done it, how are you going to properly make the impact that you want to make? So, prime example of this, let me just kind of break it down. Let's say singing is the topic. Okay, so if singing was my topic and I wanted to really hone in on that, and this is actually super relevant to a lot of clients I've actually worked with in the music space. So let's say it's singing, but my experience level as a singer is that I've never been a professional singer. I've never published music out into the world. I am not trying to be a full-time singer. My experience level as a singer is I'm a super talented singer. I'm not. This is an example. And for me, singing is a huge part of my inner peace and my happiness and my creative outlet. So I now work in this corporate job. Again, this is all made up, but I now work in this corporate job, but I'm this really talented singer and no one in my life really knows about it. But one thing that I have done to ensure that I can light that creative fire inside of me to be happy in all areas of my life is I make singing a priority. And I am so comfortable now singing in front of friends and family. So experience level to teach from there is I am not a professional. I am a hobby singer, but it is something that lights my soul on fire and is a big part of who I am as a person. And I had to build my confidence to make it a part of my life and to sing in front of family and friends or at community events or for charities or fundraisers or national anthems, etc. So who do I want to teach? You got to pair your experience level with what we call the 3 key factors of your ideal client. Your ideal client is not one thing or one person. It is that one specific ideal client at one specific place on their journey, which is a match for your experience level, seeking one specific outcome. So in this case, the one specific ideal client, it is an adult who is working in a corporate setting, but is actually a super talented singer, and it's something they did when they were growing up and really was a huge part of who they were and made them so happy. And the tipping point is they are feeling a complete loss of creativity in their life. They're not feeling happy. They don't feel like the healthiest versions of themselves, and they feel like they're creatively just blocked, stunted, and stuck, and like this is never going to end because they're an adult now and they have responsibilities, but they know they need to get it back. That's the tipping point. And so the outcome for them is they simply just want to be comfortable and confident enough to be able to sing in front of friends and family, in social settings, at any opportunity that comes up so they can share that talent with others. And I have the experience to match that. So you need to think about for yourself, what's your experience level? What's your story? And how do you match that with the 3 key factors of your ideal client? One specific ideal client, one specific place on their journey, seeking one specific transformation. And that one specific place on their journey just has to be similar to what we call 0 state was. So where I was frustrated, stuck in my corporate job, I stopped singing entirely. I felt completely unfulfilled creatively, floundering, stuck, missing that part of myself. So that's where they are. This is where I am. And I'm going to help bridge the gap to get them here because I know how to do that. I've done it for myself. So you don't need to serve every singer in the world. And by doing that, by putting yourself in this really big category, you're going to get lost. And the people who are, in that corporate job and they have this creative outlet and they wish they could still do it, they're missing out on you because they can't find you because you're not speaking to them directly. You're speaking to anyone who wants to sing on the planet, whether they're a 10-year-old trying to get on a Disney show or they're a professional singer out in the world trying to get their first album published, whatever it may be. So you have to focus on who you can serve most at the deepest level, and that's going to attract the right clients for you, where you can have the biggest impact and create the biggest transformation. And what happens when you create transformation? More people want to invest in you and your program. Make sense? Number 3, assumptions don't equal abundance. This is hands down the most common thing I see. People rush through the research process. If you are not researching before you actually create an online course, oh my goodness, that thing is gonna flop so hard. You have to really pay attention to what people actually need. Assuming you know what people need is the quickest way to kill your idea and your business and your confidence. So we need to validate before we even venture into selling anything at all. And if you didn't go through this process, it's probably a key reason why no one is buying your program, because you don't know how to speak to the people who need you most, and you haven't created a program that really speaks to them. The first thing that you need to do when it comes to research is you need to look at, okay, I know the outcome I want to create for people based on my experience level, based on who I want to serve. What else is there out in the market? What are the books that are on this topic? Who are the coaches? Who are the influencers? Are there websites dedicated to this? Are there conferences? What is out there on the market for me to research and to look into? You want to look at reviews of books. See what the best reviews and the worst reviews say. You want to look at YouTube videos in the category and see what people are really loving and engaging with in terms of your ideal client and what's kind of missing on the market and how you have a unique intel and genius to add to this category. So doing that level of research and digging into what people actually need is so important. That's really step 1. Step 2 is actually speaking to real people. So there's a Forbes article that came out about a year ago, and it actually mentioned this process that I created because it's intense, but it works really well to validate your idea, give you the confidence, and know that you have something that people actually want. But the purpose of it is not to sell. The purpose of it is to simply listen and do the research so you can create the best program possible for your ideal client. So simply put, all you're gonna do is connect with people who are your ideal client. They could be in your existing audience. If you don't have an existing audience, no problem. They're probably hanging out in forums and Facebook groups, or they're hanging out in the comment sections of social media platforms where your target audience is living and hanging out and is interested. Connecting with these people and actually having a conversation with them to interview them. Again, not sell them, interview them. And what's this also going to do? It's going to tell you, oh, this person, oh my gosh, that was my ideal client. I know exactly how I can help that person, and I'm the best person to help them. And this person that I spoke to, oof, that is not the right client. Having that clarity is going to allow you to grow and get a lot more clients in the door that are right for you because you know who is a fit and who isn't a fit. So some of the questions you want to ask are, what is your biggest challenge or hurdle right now with blank? How long have you been struggling with this, and is this urgent for you to solve? How does it feel to be in the position that you're in currently, knowing that you want to get to X outcome? And if you could wave a magic wand and 12 months from now, you have achieved this outcome, what does that do for you in your life, in your business, with your skin, with your confidence, whatever it may be? How is it affecting you? The answers to those questions provide gold to you as an entrepreneur because you are a problem solver, and it's going to help you solve people's problems in a much deeper, much more impactful way. So doing that before you create anything allows you to position your program a lot better, get really clear on your messaging, and sell to the right people and have the right people come to you. Number 4, you don't have a content to client checklist. And it's okay that you don't have one because this may be the first time you're ever hearing about this. So what is it? Okay, so it's pretty simple. I'm going to get into exactly what it is in just a second so you can actually use this with any piece of content that you create. And I did create a video recently where I talked about creating less content and achieving more sales in your business. So you definitely want to check that out next. I'll put a playlist below with a link to that. But the biggest factor to creating content that actually turns into clients online is that you have a very clear intention of who you're trying to reach. So the magic sort of formula to attract clients through your content is to, yes, make it valuable. Of course, your content needs to be valuable because what are people investing into? Why do people buy programs? Because they want a solution, an outcome, a transformation. So your content has to be value driven. It has to solve problems, create transformation, etc. But then you also need to pair it with 2 very important factors we've already discussed. Value plus coming from your experience level. So your content is unique because it's based on you and your unique experience and experience level, paired with ensuring that it's speaking to your ideal client, where they're at on their journey, and the outcome that they're seeking. When you combine those 3 things into the content that you create, it creates content that actually converts into paying clients and magnetizes paying clients to you that you can have the best and deepest impact on. If you ignore those factors, your content will fall flat. You'll feel like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall. Tell me if you can relate in the comments by putting spaghetti. And it can just feel really frustrating, like no one is ever going to actually invest in what you're doing. And ultimately, it's creating a ton of friction between what you're here to do and how you're meant to serve people and them actually being able to do the work to get the results that they need from you. So with every piece of content that you post, I want you to create a little mini checklist. It's literally just 2 things. So number 1, is this piece of content relevant to my ideal client and where they're at on their journey where they need my help the most and the outcome that they're seeking? Does it hit on those 3 things? If that person were looking at this piece of content, would they go, oh my gosh, this was made for me? That's number 1. Number 2, ask yourself, why would this person care about this piece of content? Not why would everyone care about this piece of content, because you're not trying to serve everyone and not everyone is your good client or ideal client. Would your ideal client care? And if they wouldn't, again, it's probably not the right piece of content to post. As we know, and as I've mentioned many times, any algorithm, doesn't matter what platform it is, when it comes to social media, they need to know 2 things. Who are you trying to reach and what do you want to be known for? So your content has to reflect that. And this is one of the easiest ways to ensure that it does. And if you're feeling a little bit stuck on this, one of the easiest sort of tricks that you can create for yourself in creating really powerful content for the right people and for your ideal clients to magnetize them to you so they actually invest in your program is this. Think about the fact that you are creating a program from your experience and expertise level. And you once were at the place where you were frustrated and stuck and challenged and you wanted to get to that level. So you need to write content for that version of you. That is the easiest way to create content, whether it's video, live, TikTok, Instagram, story, whatever it may be. Speak to that version of yourself with your content. Would it resonate with that version? If it does, winner. And I went into an in-depth description of how to actually create this kind of content and a template for it in last week's video. So again, I'll link to that below. Number 5, you aren't selling. You're probably like, what now? So it's one thing to create a program. It's one thing to create a course. It's one thing to create an offer. The offer doesn't sell itself. It will get to a place where you can have it on autopilot and selling evergreen, which is amazing. But in the beginning, when you are trying to prove it, build your authority, get social proof, it takes effort and intention. And so you have to look at, okay, I've created this thing. What am I actually doing to sell it? What have I done today to sell my program? Genuinely, I am telling you to ask yourself that question in this moment. If you're frustrated because nobody's buying your course, ask yourself, well, what have you done today? What have you done this week to actually sell your program? And I'm not talking you have created a bunch of content. Okay, well, is that content live? Does that content go through the content checklist? And is it speaking to your ideal client? Or is it really broad? And therefore it's getting missed by the people who need you most. Have you followed up with people who have engaged with you and shown interest in what you do to ask them how you can best support them and start a conversation? built a relationship with them? Have you sent an email to people you know are a great fit for your program? Whether you have an email list or not, sending an email is a great activity to generate that one-to-one connection, to get the people who need you to actually engage and convert into a paying client. So what have you done to start conversations with people who need you? Today, yesterday, this week. You would be shocked at how very little you've actually done to convert clients and sell your program. One thing to create a program, whole different thing to sell that program. And again, I talked about this in last week's video, but there's an order of events here. You have your offer, which is super clear on how you're impacting people. You have your ideal client. From there, you can create really clear and high converting messaging. From there, that turns into leads for your business. If you don't have leads, you don't have sales, because the next thing is the leads turn into sales. From there, you can actually support your team and yourself financially in your business so you can make an even bigger impact on more people. And then you can create operations so that you can have a business that can sustain itself and your business will start to run on its own without you. But without offer, ideal client messaging, and leads, none of that's possible. So what are you doing to generate leads right now? And the easiest tip I have for you on actually converting people is what I call the no friction sales funnel. It doesn't require an actual funnel. All it requires is very clear messaging to a very targeted group or one individual that you know needs your help, that speaks to that person at that place that they're at where they need your help the most, and getting from that place to having a call to action to have an actual conversation with them so you can really understand how you can best support them and if they are at a place where they need your help the most. And from there, simply just make the offer for the solution that they're seeking, which is your program. And that is how selling becomes generous, not icky, generous. When you're trying to sell to the masses just because, that's what feels icky. When you're selling to the people who desperately need your help and your experience, it is an act of generosity and it feels really good because you know you're going to help them. So again, I'll say it one more time. Ask yourself, what activities have I actually done today to generate sales? Have you created a poll on social platforms to ask a question that's hyper relevant to your ideal client and engaged directly with each person who got in contact with you through that poll? Have you shared a piece of content on any platform that you're on that speaks directly to your ideal client? Have you sent an email? Have you followed up with people? Have you gone through your DMs to see if there's opportunity there? What have you done? And if you're starting from zero, I made a whole video starting from zero and how to sell your course with no audience. Check that out next. Again, I'll have a whole playlist below with these videos because I know I've mentioned a few, but hopefully that's helpful. So I have a quick ask. If this was helpful for you and you got a light bulb out of it, comments are my love language. So please comment below with what you took away from this video. It would mean a lot and I love to see it. And also, this is what I do. This is what I have been doing for years. I've helped thousands of people package their experience and their expertise into an online program that has a high impact and is highly scalable. So if that's something of interest to you and you're ready to dive into that journey, really simply, all you need to do is click the link below and you can apply to speak to a real human being on my team so we can support you on that journey. We are super, super, super selective in who we do speak to because we do want to make sure that you're at the right place where we can have the biggest impact on you. So be sure to fill out the application as thoroughly as possible and then we can connect you with a person on our team and go from there. Again, I hope this was super helpful for you and be sure to subscribe for new content every week and be sure to hit that bell so you're notified every single time I post a new video. I'm so grateful you're here and I really hope that this was super, super, super valuable for you. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you watch this next and the whole playlist that I put below to really help you hone in on this and to fast track your growth and success so you don't do what I did in the beginning. I've learned a lot, so I'm happy to share it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.